Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are putting on our data hats to build you a real, practical guide for anyone thinking about moving to Australia's biggest state, New South Wales. We're going to break down all the numbers, the latest policies, and most importantly, the opportunities that could really shape your future here.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this just like a migrant would. We'll start with the big picture. What's happening with the population in NSW? Then we'll zoom right in on the specific visas and jobs that are hot right now. After that, we'll tackle the big one, the clearest path to permanent residency, and finally, we'll take a peek into the future.
All right, first things first. To really get what's going on, you have to understand this kind of unique situation in New South Wales. It's a state that's always in motion, defined by this really interesting demographic push and pull. It's a revolving door, in a way.
And here's the headline number. By 2041, the state's population is expected to crack 10 million people. Now, to put that in perspective, that's like adding almost 2 million more people from where we were in 2021. That kind of growth has to come from somewhere, right?
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question. The answer tells you everything you need to know about both the main challenge the state is facing and the massive opportunity this creates for someone just like you.
So check this out, because this chart tells a fascinating story. On the one hand, you've got this huge wave of people, over 168,000 coming in from overseas. But then, look at the other end of the scale. At the exact same time, the state is actually losing over 31,000 of its own residents to other parts of Australia who are often chasing more affordable housing in places like Queensland.
And here's the mind-blowing part. When you do the math, it turns out that international migration isn't just part of the growth story, it is the entire growth story. Seriously, without people arriving from overseas, the population of New South Wales would actually be going backward.
So, okay, the state clearly needs and relies on people coming from overseas. That leads to the next logical question. Which doors are open the widest? Let's talk about the visas that are getting the most love from the government right now, the real golden tickets.
And this donut chart, well, it says it all, doesn't it? Out of 185,000 spots for permanent residency across the whole country, a whopping 71% are set aside for the skills stream. The government's message couldn't be clearer. If you have the skills we need, we want you.
So let's drill down into those golden tickets. Employer sponsorship is a huge priority. Its national quota was just bumped up to 44,000. State nomination is another massive pathway, but boy is it competitive. NSW got 5,000 slots this year, and last year they filled their main quota in a flash. That tells you just how high the demand is. And of course, partner visas and genuine student visas are still very solid options.
But here's the thing about immigration policy. It never, ever stands still. So to give you the complete picture, it's just as important to know which doors might be closing as it is to know which ones are opening up.
And this table right here is the perfect snapshot of the government's strategy. You can see they're moving away from things like the old business investment visas and that super competitive skilled independent visa where you just tried to get enough points. The preference now is crystal clear. They want migrants who have a direct link to a real job or a skill shortage that a state like NSW has specifically pointed out.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote is straight from the government's own big strategy review. The message is simple. Getting a job offer is fast becoming the most reliable way to build a future in Australia.
Okay, so we know the government wants skilled workers, and they really want them to have a job, lined up. But what jobs are we actually talking about here? Let's hit the job jackpot and get really specific about the industries that are desperate for workers right here in NSW.
All right, first up, we've got the sector with what is probably the most urgent and deepest need. Australia has an aging population, and because of that, the demand for care is it's absolutely exploding.
The shortages in this space are not just temporary, they're chronic. Get this. Aged or disabled carers was officially ranked as the single biggest job shortage in the entire country in 2024. The bottom line, if you're a qualified health professional, New South Wales is looking for you. Hard.
Next up, we have the people who will literally build the future of New South Wales. The state is dealing with a major housing crisis and is rolling out these massive infrastructure projects. But they've got a big problem. They just don't have enough skilled people to do the work.
And the state itself is being super clear about this. Their own skills plan says that basically all construction trades are in persistent shortage. So from the Sparky wiring a new apartment to the civil engineer designing a new tunnel, the demand is absolutely off the charts.
You know, Sydney is without a doubt Australia's tech hub, and it has this booming digital economy.
The only catch is that the industry is growing way faster than the local talent pool can keep up.
These are the jobs that pop up on skills shortage lists again and again. And listen, if you've got top-tier skills, especially in hot areas like cybersecurity or software development, employers in NSW are not just sitting around waiting for your resume. No way. They are actively out there recruiting from all over the world.
So, let's say you've got the skills, you've lined up a job in one of these hot industries. What's the final hurdle? Well, for most people, the ultimate goal is securing permanent residency, or PR. So let's break down the clearest, most direct ways to crack that code.
Now you need to pay attention to this, because this is an absolute game changer. The government recently made some changes that have made this whole process so much simpler. It used to be that a lot of jobs on the temporary TSS visa had no clear path to PR. Well, that's gone. And now, you only need to work for your sponsor for 2 years before you can apply. This has opened up a direct highway to PR for thousands of skilled people.
And this table really brings the whole strategy to life. You can see there's a pretty clear divide, right? The pathways that are tied directly to an employer, to a state's needs, or to a partner are now much, much more straightforward. Trying to do it on your own with just a point score or hoping to switch from a student visa, well, that's become a significantly tougher road to travel.
Okay, let's zoom out for our final section. Let's say you make it, you're successful, and you're here. What's the bigger picture going to look like over the next decade as you actually start building your life in New South Wales?
This timeline tells a really clear story. You can see there was this massive, record-breaking spike in migration right after the pandemic as the country played catch-up. But now, those numbers are being intentionally brought back down. The plan is to get back to more normal, sustainable, long-term levels. And what that means for you is a system that should be more stable, more predictable, and a lot less volatile in the years ahead.
So the main takeaway here is that future policy is all about finding a balance. It's about smart, targeted growth, making sure the state gets the skills it needs, while also managing the pressure on things we all need, like housing and transport.
So, what's the bottom line in all of this? It's pretty simple, really. New South Wales absolutely needs skilled migrants to fill critical gaps. And the good news is the pathways for people with the right skills in the right industries are becoming clearer and more direct. By understanding these trends, you can start to plan your own journey strategically to be a part of its next chapter.